Only 33 drivers have the right to say they won the Daytona 500. 3 years ago, it was Kevin Harvick, followed up by Roger Penske's only plate win with Ryan Newman and teammate Kurt Busch pushing him across the finish line. Then it was Matt Kenseth that got Roush Fenway Racing off to the best start possible last year. The 2010 NASCAR season is upon us, but before the cars hit the track at Daytona, it's Media Day. Drivers will first hit the airwaves and cyberspace with high hopes, questions, concerns, and comments, and hopefully a little fun along the way. Welcome everybody to Media Day 2010. I'm John Roberts. She is Wendy Venturini, and hope springs eternal as each NASCAR season starts. Wendy, no one's mad at us yet. No drivers are mad at each other yet, at least not that we know of, and everybody's hoping for a great season.
This is the media members' favorite day because nobody's really upset at the media yet. Drivers aren't really upset. We're at our first day of speed weeks. Everything's pretty calm. It's the calm before the storm.
Got a couple of drivers walking around here in new uniforms that we're not used to seeing yet. Sponsors changing, couple drivers changing places. But also, the same thing goes as it does every year. They say that walking through a media day, whether it's the NFL or NASCAR, is like walking through a pack of pit bulls wearing pork chop underwear.
Yeah.
But it's not that bad.
That's the first joke of the day by Johnny, by the way. Not mark that one in the books.
Wasn't very good, but
very many more to come, I'm sure. But it's a cool time to see the drivers at ease and talking to the media. Everybody's smiling and see their new uniforms, the spiffy haircuts. You know, some of them have wedding rings on. Some people got married in the off season. You know, lots of stories we're going to cover on Media Day.
And to get us where the action is going on, we now go to Rutledge Wood, who is standing by. And Rutledge, one of the first rights of Media Day is the driver gets the man hug from you.
That's not required, but it is optional, you guys. I'm so excited to be here with you guys and the fans at home. This is such a fun time, like you guys said, because all the drivers have had so much time off. Everybody's ready to get back out there. Today's going to be a lot of fun. I hope we get to bring it all to you.
All right, Rutledge Wood, stand by. We'll be back with you in just a moment. But when we come back, we have the stars of NASCAR coming by our stage here. On Speed, we have Mark Martin's going to come join us to talk about his campaign for this season. He says he feels better than he ever has before. As well as Mark Martin, we also have the four-time defending champion, Jimmie Johnson. Matt Kenseth, the defending race winner, is going to come join us. And as Wendy mentioned just a moment ago, all these guys have news not only in the car, but outside of the car as well. Jimmie Johnson, soon to be a father. So the four-time champ will come join us in just a moment.
Speed's presentation of NASCAR Media Day is brought to you by DirecTV. To get the most out of your high-def TV, you gotta hook it up to DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. By Hershey's Milk and Milkshakes. Try a new way to indulge in Hershey's. And by Toyota, moving forward.
After somewhat of a slow start to the season, Mark Martin appeared in victory lane race after race last year en route to a second-place finish in the Sprint Cup Championship standings. What a year it was for this team and Hendrick Motorsports all together. But if you have any question about how long Mark Martin's been around this sport, he is getting ready to make his 50th start at this big track by the beach, Daytona. And Mark, you know, the way this thing's supposed to work, we're supposed to feel worse as we get older, but you say you never felt better.
I feel really good. You know, this 90 days that we've had, you know, I've really taken advantage of it. And, you know, I've learned a lot about a lot of things, nutrition and everything. And, gosh, when you drive for Hendrick Motorsports and have a team, you know, like Alan Gustafson and all those guys and GoDaddy.com and all those guys on board, why wouldn't you feel great?
Well, it's hard for me to hear you say that you learned about nutrition this winter. How could Mark Martin get any more fit than you already are? It seems like you really worked on that.
I've learned a lot, and I've got a lot to learn. We learn stuff. I learn stuff all the time, and my son Matt has really became, you know, an enthusiast in it as well. And you know, we push each other, and we're learning. You know, we just learned a lot, and it's really made a difference. You know, I've really evolved a lot in the last, I'd say, 18 months, you know, learning more and more and more about and putting more emphasis on things like stretching and you know, nutrition. And
do yoga, Pilates, any of that?
Yoga.
That's good.
I don't do yoga now because it takes too much time.
It is time consuming. I agree. Johnny, you agree?
I have no dog in that fight. I'm not too sure what yoga is.
Another joke. There you go.
I ate yogurt, but
I do
yoga.
too.
Yeah, which is
By the way,
good for you
yeah.
too. Hey, Mark, we know you didn't get together with Hendrick Motorsports for the purpose of running in the 35th position, but did it surprise you last year that you guys had the success you had?
Well, I hoped, I knew the car would be fast, and I hoped that we might win a race. But obviously, it was just like Christmas Day. Every day I got to walk in and strap in that 5 car. It was like being a little kid on Christmas. It was so much fun, and to see their faces and their enthusiasm was just contagious.
Mark, at the media tour in January in Charlotte, you mentioned that you really were prepared for 2010. Every driver's coming into this with a new head game, basically. How did you guys work on your plan? You and Alan sat down and really worked on 2010 because you had success, but just a little bit further. You said you wanted to achieve more.
Man, Alan takes the lead so strongly. What we have done is we have worked separately. I've worked on me, and he's worked on the program, and he's reported back on he has managed to strengthen every single piece of our program. And every piece that I bring to the program, I have strengthened a little bit as well. So hopefully that, will all come together for even better performance.
Well, Mark Martin was part of a 1-2-3 finish for Hendrick Motorsports last year. What a great run, and we wish you all the best this year as you try to make that one position higher.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks to Mark Martin for coming by, and good luck this season. Now, for perhaps 2 of the best hairdos or hairstyles, and the only guy that has better hair than Rutledge Wood is Jamie McMurray, and he's with Rutledge.
Thanks, John. Yeah, Jamie's here looking sharp. I'm so ready to ask you about off-season new sponsor, and you can't get off Twitter.
Yeah, I just got into this like a month ago, and it just seems like it's a really good way for your sponsors to follow you first off, and then also the fans to just kind of follow you and see what's going on.
And what's your name on there?
Just Jamie McMurray.
Something the kids could remember.
Seems simple enough. Yeah.
That makes sense. New sponsor. You're excited to get back out there?
Yeah, excited. Bass Pro Shops. I grew up 70 miles from Bass Pro Shops headquarters in Springfield, Missouri. So certainly excited to have them on board and be a part of their team.
Now, one really fun thing you got to do in the offseason, you were part of our Haiti Relief show. Did a great job on there, but that show was really moving for you. Tell us about that.
Well, I felt very honored, first off, that Speed Channel asked me to come down and be a part of that. And when I went home that night, I was going through my attic with my wife, and we were just kind of cleaning stuff up. And I have a tremendous amount of driving suits over from the past 10 years of racing. And we went through and picked out 10 suits that I thought the fans would like. And I've autographed them, and you can go to NASCAR.com/foundation, and there'll be a link on there, I guess, with my name and Haiti Relief. And all the money that we raise from that's going to go to help the victims of Haiti. So, everyone in the world is doing their part. And after doing that show, I just felt like I needed to do something else. So hopefully we can raise some money.
Well, Jamie, thanks for doing that, man. Good luck to you this year. John, these guys are helping all the time. Love it.
Yeah, there's a lot of things about NASCAR you can debate, but you can't debate the fact that when people need help, the NASCAR community pulls together and helps them out. Well, he did what no driver has ever done before, and that is win 4 consecutive championships. A little bit later on NASCAR Media Day, Jimmie Johnson is going to come by to talk about what is now being called the Drive 4-5 and other things along the way. Stay with us.
Been a year. Can you believe it? A year ago, the 2009 Daytona 500 champion, Matt Kenseth. Here we are in the Media Day. Matt Kenseth joining us this morning, and it has been one whirlwind of an off season for you with the new sponsor, paint scheme, and I love the purple, Matt.
Thanks, I love it too. So, yeah, it has been. It's cool to watch that clip from the 500. It kind of really gets you excited to race down here again. You're always excited to come down to the Daytona 500, but to have won it last year and be the reigning champion is cool to come down.
Good pun.
Yeah.
But Matt, when
I was using your joke.
That's okay.
You worked so hard on it last night, and then I used it on you right away.
That's quite all right, man. I write Matt's best stuff, actually. But Matt, how easy is it for a team like Roush Fenway, as good as you guys are, as good as the drivers are, to slip just a little bit and have the back half of 2009 happen like it did to you last year?
Well, really, the whole season, I think, as a whole for Roush Fenway was disappointing. When you just look at the whole season as a whole. Our season couldn't have started any better, obviously, with the first 2 weeks. But then we went in the third week and finished last. We busted on the first lap, and just a little bit inconsistent all year, and really as an organization, our performance just wasn't where it needed to be. So it's really tough. It's really competitive out there. There's a lot of great teams out there, and everybody's well funded, has good people, good cars, all that stuff, and it's easy to get a little bit behind.
So here on Media Day, you talk to just about everybody in the media, and you have the same cliche goals type for 2010. Do you work up an answer for this day and just keep with the same answer for every media member? You keep them unique for us on Speed, don't you?
Well, mine's the same every year, to be honest with you. I mean, ever since 2003 when we won a championship, my goal every year is to try to win a championship. So really my goal this year is to be more consistent, win races, and run good enough to win a championship, even if we don't win it. Get back to running consistently up in the top 5 and the top 10 on your little bit of off days, and get back to getting some of those consistent finishes like we used to do, a couple years back. So really, I really want to get our team and as a group and everything back into a championship form is my goal.
Once you've tasted championship, it's hard to settle for anything else, isn't it?
Well, yeah, and I mean to set your goals lower than that is, just seems silly to me. So I mean that's what our goal is. I feel like we have people that are capable of that. I feel like the organization is capable of that. I feel like on my good days that if we do everything right, that I'm capable of doing that as well. So I mean that's really what our goals is to get back in that championship form and get back to being one of the contenders.
And what do you think with Speed Weeks? I mean, the testing going away for the off season. I know some teams spent some time at some other tracks. How does the driver prepare? I mean, this is our second year now without testing. Is it any different than it was last year?
I don't know. Everybody else prepares. I haven't really done much to prepare except for think about it. Spend a little time at the shop, see what they're doing with the cars, and try to stay up to speed on what we're doing to try to get our stuff better. But really, that's about it until we get into the season. We'll run this week, and there's a couple tests coming up in March, I think, with a spoiler where everybody will be able to get on the track together. But you get to spend some time in a 7-post and wind tunnel and some simulation stuff. All the teams do that now to look at your stuff, but you don't really get any track time on the tracks that you're going to race at, on the tires that you're going to race at. So honestly, you don't really know where you're going to stack up until you get into the season. I think that's part of the anticipation. You're like, well, we feel like we made everything better, but we don't really know until probably you get to week 4 or 5, something like that.
So Matt Kenseth, one of 33 drivers that has won the Daytona 500, the reigning champion from last year. Thanks for coming by, and best of luck going for the back-to-back.
No problem. I appreciate it.
All right, and a good new uniform as well. Looks really good now, but it's going to get a little sweaty as the day goes on, I think. All right, Kyle Busch was one of the winners last year. So was Jeff Gordon. And next Thursday, NASCAR's back, and we'll be here in Daytona for a pair of races on the high banks. Be there as the field is set for the Great American Race, the Gatorade Duel at Daytona, next Thursday at 2 Eastern, only on Speed. Richard Petty never did it. Dale Earnhardt never did it. But Jimmie Johnson last year at Homestead became the first driver ever to record 4 consecutive Sprint Cup Series championships. And now the drive for 5 is alive on a new season. You know what? Jimmy, we got to tell you, I don't think this is news to you or anything, but going into this season, there's got to be a target on your back. Everybody's trying to beat you, including 2 great teammates.
They are.
3 great teammates, I'm sorry.
Yes, 3 great teammates. I'm excited. I've always wanted to be the guy, and we've been fortunate enough to be in this situation the last few years. There's no telling how long it's going to last, but we're going to try to do it again. And obviously there's a lot of racing between now and when the chase starts. And without having preseason testing, we've been working on a lot of things, but no one's had a chance to validate stuff. So I'm really excited to get on the racetrack this weekend and then also in California to really see where our stuff is.
Now, you mentioned you haven't been able to test, but of course you've already been to Daytona this month. You've had a busy season in a race car. How important is that to get some seat time, even though it doesn't really relate to your Cup car?
It helps. As long as I don't hit the brakes in the tri-oval and try to turn off into the road course turn 1, I'll be fine. But those cars are so much fun to drive, and the race itself is extremely demanding physically and mentally. So I really enjoy the Rolex 24. Unfortunately, we had some issues through the night and didn't have a chance to finish. An oil pump belt fell off with about 3 hours to go in the race, and the engine locked up. So unfortunate there, but so much fun. And I feel that it's good to get out there, knock the rust off, sense what a car is doing. Although nothing crosses over, it's just great to be in a race car, have a helmet on, and be sweating again.
Jimmy, every weekend and every year, everybody starts with a clean slate. Does anything ever transfer over from a championship season that helps you guys the following season in terms of momentum or just overall attitude of the team?
Momentum is tough to really have carryover because it is a clean slate. Every team's like, okay, that last year's gone. We've worked hard over the off season, and sponsorship is new sponsors are on board. Everybody has a lot of excitement. So I feel like it's kind of a draw, and it really takes those first probably 4 to 5 races for someone to separate themselves. We'll know more when we go to California and Vegas. You know, who is the team, who is the guy, and we hope to be that person. But you know, there could be a position where we're not. We've been there before. We went to Las Vegas, I guess, 2 or 3 years ago, and I went 3 laps down and had a perfectly straight race car. So there's no telling what's going to happen.
Now, I imagine this picture in the off season, you and Chad in the office, and Chad and you going over goals for 2010, and you just, well, another championship, duh, Chad, you know, based off your commercials. But how do you guys even set higher goals? How do you do that?
You know, we certainly set goals to win the championship. First of all, we need to make the chase. So we kind of sat down and spoke about logical steps that would lead to a championship, with the obvious goal, you know, being a championship. But there are tracks that I have not done well at that I'm still trying to get better at. Same with Chad on the setup side. And then the real gauge for things in my mind is, you know, if we get beat, we get beat. That's fine. It's going to happen. I mean, it's just racing and competition, and you're not going to be on top forever. But if we give 100% and we get beat, that's acceptable to me. I can deal with that. So for myself and Chad and the guys, we just need to do everything we can and go to the racetrack like we have in the last 8 years, building this race team up. And if we do that, good things will come, and we'll just take it from there.
It seems like the theme of this offseason is that NASCAR is listening with all the rule changes coming about. As a 4-time champion, does anybody ever, you know, come to you, ask you what you think about rules, plans for the future of the sport?
Yeah, especially as I've won more championships, my voice has been more valued. And, you know, I have to give Mike Helton a lot of credit. He spends a lot of time going through the garage area talking to guys, and he goes out of his way to try to get the pulse of what's going on in the sport. Unfortunately, they have to regulate and notice and pay attention to many hats: fans, drivers, team owners, manufacturers, TV ratings, track operators. So they've got I don't want that job. NASCAR's got a tough job, and I think that they've done a very, very good job. I think we've had some criticism on our sport that was kind of not needed and unfair. You know, drivers are giving everything they have every single lap. Drivers are trying to win every single race. Yes, the car of tomorrow got off to a bad start, but that car has come a long way in a short period of time. So I think if we all look at the positives, we can really, you know, have an exciting start to the season and an exciting year.
You know, us media members have never been accused of being the sharpest knives in the drawer, so to speak. But, you know, finally, the preseason media poll picked Jimmie to win the championship. You think we figured out by now?
They're just catching up.
It might be a curse of sorts, so I don't know if I want this.
Jimmie, thank you for coming by and spending a little time with us today, and best of luck on the Drive for 5.
You got it. Thank you.
And the TVs aren't off. It is a brighter blue this year.
Yes.
Yeah, no adjustment to your set necessary.
Yep.
Looks good in the HD, though. All right, the champ is a tough act to follow, but coming up, we have some potential champions. Juan Pablo Montoya will come join us in just a moment, as will another 4-time champion, Jeff Gordon, and Tony Stewart as well, coming by to talk to us about their hopes for 2010.
I officially call Juan Pablo Montoya a veteran in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. How about you, Juan Pablo Montoya, looking for 2010 and the success to get even better than last year? Juan joining us here on Media Day, and it has been a crazy day so far, but not too much excitement for you, Juan. You said, this is just the part that's probably not your favorite part because you really want to get in that race car.
Yeah, you know, it actually gets easier. Every year it gets easier. First year you come here, you don't know where you need to do, you don't know who you know, and kind of you learn the routine, but it's just a long day. I mean, let's be realistic. It's a long day, and it's kind of weird because normally you only did this today. For me, it's the first time in the shootout, so, you know, as soon as you're done with this, now get in the car and drive the car, so it should be fun.
Hey, Juan, you were refreshingly honest last year about what you guys had to do to get into the chase, the way you raced. Any difference in strategy this year, or do you guys have to see what cards you're dealt?
Yeah, I think you got to wait and see how good you are. You know, I think, you know, if you can run top 5 every week, then you can, I think, be a little more aggressive and be, you know, go at it a little more. If you have a car that runs 15th every week, better finish every week, you know. So I think you got to be smarter and see where the car will run and how fast or how far you can go.
You mentioned the extra seat time being in this shootout. How advantageous is that for you this week at Speed Weeks?
I'll tell you, always every year, I felt that when I got, you know, realistically, the 500 car, you don't want to wreck it. You don't want to, you know what I mean? It's a car that's got a lot of work on it. So, and everybody's the same, you know. Everybody, you know, you don't practice a lot on the draft. You know, you look after it. So by the time you get to the 500, I know it's a long race. you don't really do too much. So I think having the shootout would be a really good practice for the 500.
How far did that go last year, Juan? You guys making the chase. Now, we can see by the front of your shirt there it's well stickered up. But nothing better than making the chase when you guys have to go back to sponsors, have a new teammate coming on. You guys really have that momentum to carry on, not just in the race car, but behind the scenes.
No, I'll tell you, I think it's been exciting. I think having, Target still on board, it's for me, it's a great sponsor. I dealt with them before when I run, the car days, I ran the Indy 500 with them. So it's a great family, and for me, it's a pleasure to be around them. And having Jamie on board, I think is huge. I think he's a guy that has a lot of speed, and he really wants to prove himself. So I think we can help him here.
Oh, well, Juan, you saw Rutledge just a minute ago. He commented on your cool racing shoes. I do have to say they're cool. You wore them last year. Good to see him again. Now let's head over to Rutledge Wood, who has quite possibly the coolest wardrobe at Speed.
Hey guys, caught up with Travis Kvapil. Travis, you're back full time this year. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it's just really exciting. 2009 was kind of a bummer for me watching these guys on Sundays, and I got hooked up with Front Row Motorsports, and they're putting a big push and a lot of effort into 2010. Really excited about it. I'm going to drive in Daytona, I'm going to drive the 37 car, but for the rest of the year, I'll drive the 34 car, which John Andretti drove last year, and Long John Silver's will be on the car all year, and just really excited. Ford, we got some manufacturer support from Ford. That's a first for this team, and a lot of good things happening for us, so just can't wait to get going.
Does this mean you and I might get to go to Long John Silver's together?
Yeah, we might be able to do that. I think we know some people. We can probably get that done.
This is great news. Travis Kvapil back full-time this year. Guys?
And I can guarantee you might just find Rutledge at a Long John Silver's. Now, tonight, don't forget, you have the greatest performance awards. And forget Lady Gaga or the Black Eyed Peas. It's the Speed Performance Awards. See if Jimmie Johnson will take home his 4th consecutive Performer of the Year. Don't miss the Speed Performance Awards tonight at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, only on Speed.
Well, it was one of the highest profile ARCA tests ever at Daytona as we anticipate Danica Patrick's debut in the ARCA Series coming up this weekend and potentially in the Nationwide Series as well. And also, just to put a wrap on it, Danica, one of the most anticipated NASCAR debuts in a long time. First of all, thanks for coming by and joining us today. But tell us, how could it be that you could possibly win the ARCA race and still not race in the Nationwide race? What could go into that?
Well, I think it's going to first and foremost come from really just being comfortable with all the different situations, with pit stops and restarts and, running with traffic and getting in tough situations. I mean, it's never nice to be in tough situations, but you do learn the most from them. So, if perhaps, I haven't felt like I really, learned enough in the race, maybe it's, maybe the team gives me such a darn fast car that I just put my foot down and drive around everybody, but, I don't have to see anybody in pit lane. I pull straight into my spot. Nothing's challenging. Then there's no way that that's going to happen in the Nationwide race. That's not true, actually. There's always a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. But, it's probably not going to happen to just be running up front the whole day and just, pulling your pit stop real easy. So I think it's just going to come from really feeling like I'm prepared, feeling comfortable doing all the things that I'm not used to. And, a good result will always push you a little further, though.
With my family being in the ARCA Series for 30 years now, you brought so much exposure to them this winter, to the ARCA Series. What do you think you can really learn from the ARCA Series that's going to apply? Because there's a lot of young, inexperienced drivers on that racetrack. You bring a lot of experience to the table, but at the same time, you're learning something in these stock cars.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot to learn. I'm going to be one of those people out there that's in the learning curve. While I, do have a lot of professional experience being in the IndyCar Series for 5 years, this is my 19th year of racing, actually. So, I have a lot of years behind me, but, I don't know how this kind of racing goes and what's the proper etiquette. And, at what point in time do you know what your car needs and what does your car need? How does it need to start the race to finish well? That's all stuff that, to be honest, takes a long time to learn anywhere. So, I think that what I am going to do, though, is I'm going to respect all those guys out there. I hope that I don't get put into a situation that takes me out of the race that is a result of inexperience. But if it happens, it happens. I mean, that's kind of what you're up against. And, but we're just going to try and qualify up front and run up front. That's going to be, that's going to be the goal.
It's a lot of fun, though, isn't it? A new challenge?
Yeah, with every challenge you grow, and I actually don't doubt that I'm going to learn something here that carries over to IndyCar too. So, you know, there is a lot of things to learn though.
Now, I saw on Twitter, this is interesting. You took a photo of your makeup roll that you handmade, and I thought it was hilarious because I thought this is a first, a driver with her own makeup roll, and anyone that's a woman that has makeup brushes, you know what that is. But you're bringing something different to the table that no one has ever done before.
Well, it's new for me too because I got a sewing machine for Christmas. So, yeah, I laugh about the gifts that I've got from my husband over the last, few holidays with like a dishwasher and a blender and a bread machine and a little gun and I mean just all kinds of really funny stuff. So I'm happy to bring something different to the table. I was very proud of myself for sewing that brush roll, and I will continue to sew, and I will show you all of my new creations.
Danica teaching me how to sew. Now my husband's really going to have a heyday with that one. I don't think that one's going to happen. I'll leave the sewing and the driving to you.
Well, I think it's pretty safe to say that this will be the only driver today we'll talk to that has a sewing machine for Christmas. But Danica, best of luck out there. Thank you for coming by. We appreciate you spending some time with us today.
Thank you.
Good luck this weekend.
Thanks.
All right, and Danica Patrick will be front and center in the ARCA race. You can see it Saturday night only on Speed as Media Day continues. We advise you to be there. And also, don't forget about the Trackside Tavern. Get an exclusive Speed Trackside Tavern ticket package to the Daytona 500 for only $99. Go to speedtv.com, keyword promo.
NASCAR Media Day continues on here in Daytona. Brad Keselowski had the sweet taste of victory, not only in the Sprint Cup Series, but of course those 4 wins in the NASCAR Nationwide Series with Dover, Michigan, Memphis, and Iowa that you don't see there. Brad Keselowski joining us here at NASCAR Media Day inside the Daytona tent. And it has been a busy day. And Brad, I know you are looking forward to this. You like the media. You like doing these things. Most drivers, they kind of balk when they come into this Media Day tent. But you have a good positive attitude today.
Yeah, you got to have a positive attitude. That's everything, whether it's on the racetrack or off.
You know, Wendy, the funniest thing happened when I drove in here this morning. Keselowski wrecked me in the parking lot. I figure as long as everybody else is blaming Brad.
Oh, man.
But now,
it started already.
Yeah, it started already.
I wrecked my first guy at Daytona in the parking lot.
John Roberts.
But last year, you got your share of criticism from some other drivers. But then again, your job on the racetrack is not necessarily to please other drivers. It's to please your sponsors, your owners, and the fans.
Certainly. That's my view in a nutshell. Wow, you took the words out of my mouth. But I mean, that's the deal right there. We got a new year, but same attitude and hopefully the same results.
Are the fans pretty critical of you when you have confidence? We've talked about this on race day before. I mean, you have a confidence, and every driver has to have that. But fans can get a little bit critical when they don't see what they're looking for. What do you feel about it?
I feel like it's one thing to have confidence. It's another to be a jerk. And the two somewhat go hand in hand, but then again, they don't. You don't have to be a jerk to believe in yourself, to believe in your team, and to believe in your place in the sport. But you don't need to walk out every meeting and to walk away out of every outing where you don't win and say, well, my car was no good or this racetrack sucked or whatever. That's being a jerk. So it's a line that you have to walk.
How much did that fateful day in Talladega change your life, becoming a Sprint Cup winner?
Not tremendously, but certainly there was some influence down the line that came from it. I certainly gained a lot of confidence from it and got some notoriety from the whole ordeal. But I had fun, I can tell you that, and just re-energized me to get going. I had a really rough part of the year before that. The nationwide side, I was really struggling, and I can't say I was doing much better on the Cup side. And that just lit the fire to carry us through the summer and started to perform very well on both sides afterwards.
Now, here you are into 2010. You've had so much happen to you in your career, and I can't help but think about your family and your roots and where you came from. And a lot of people don't know, Brad and I spent our childhoods together sneaking into the ARCA garage because our families, we were too young to work on the cars. And here you are in a dream ride. What a whirlwind.
It's been great. Feels like 3 or 4 lives have passed. Just so much continues to change, but all in the name of growth. And that's what coming to Penske Racing is all about. It's tremendous opportunity, and sometimes with growth comes change, and this is a big change for me, but it's a great opportunity. Great lineage with Penske Racing. They're out of Michigan too, which is where I'm from, which is kind of cool, and I can't wait to be in Victory Lane with Mr. Penske. That's going to be awesome. Just can't wait to be there with him and to enjoy that moment, and to say that I was in victory lane with the captain. That's going to be great, whether it's on the Nationwide or Cup side or whatever. I feel confident we can do that, and really looking forward to that moment.
How difficult was the decision, though, when you were with JR Motorsports, technically something that would propel you to Hendrick Motorsports? You had to make a decision. It's nice to be wanted, but you had to make a decision to go to another great organization.
Well, it was certainly the toughest decision I've ever had to make by far. There were so many different factors that went into it, from Mark's end to the Penske end, and being able to see them on an upswing. I've used the terminology a few times that I feel like somewhat of a criminal, because I feel like coming to Penske Racing like I've got an insider stock trading tip, because I see things in the company to where I believe in it, and I believe the next few years it's going to take off, and just looking to be a part of that. I feel like I'm got a good shot at it.
Cool. Well, Brad, thanks so much for stopping by the Media Day tent. Enjoy the rest of your Media Day interviews.
Will do.
I don't think Brad's having any fun. I don't think he's just
yeah, you didn't get to see him joking around before the camera started rolling. We appreciate you stopping by. And if you didn't learn quite enough about Brad Keselowski, you can see and hear more from him on Trackside Friday night, 7 p.m. only on Speed. Brad Keselowski and Jack Roush join the guys on Trackside, 7 p.m. Friday.
Questions, comments, concerns? Today is the day to voice them, as the airwaves and cyberspace are both full of NASCAR Media Day 2010 here from Daytona. We are now joined by President Mike Helton. And Mike, you guys are making some wholesale changes going into this year, and we know NASCAR has never just waking up one morning and said, let's change this whole thing. What was the process getting to things like allowing the bump drafting a little bit more, and also doing away with the spoiler with the rear wing eventually?
Well, it starts with the research that we get from fans and their input, and then much like the double file restart or the consistent earlier start times, then there's a list of strong elements that the fans speak to, and starts there. And one of those was the regulating part that NASCAR does as a sanctioning body and the caretakers of the sport is maybe over-regulating. And a couple of years ago, we told the drivers that we were going to back off and let their personalities be more prevailing, because that's what built NASCAR, is the character and their personalities. This was another round of that, if you will, and the next phase was internal conversations, and then the ultimate was the cycling through during the off season with the race drivers and the race teams themselves, and talking out what we were thinking and why we were thinking it, and then we made our decision on what to do, and then ultimately, as we announced a couple of weeks ago, it was to back off of enforcing bump draft and give that back to the drivers, and say, all right, you guys, that's in your lap. You decide how to do it, when to do it, and what to do with it. Be mindful of the fact, though, that NASCAR is still sitting there, and just like in Michigan or Martinsville or Phoenix, Arizona, there is a line that can get crossed that we feel like is unnecessary and over-aggressive. So that we're still there watching to maintain law and order on the playing field, but certainly the conversation of why we were doing it and how we were going to do it was critical, and then we make our decision and announce it.
Mike, have you, as NASCAR, already determined how far that line is, if they cross that line, or is that something we'll see once we get out on the racetrack for a few days and see how the bump drafting is going and leaving it into the driver's hands?
Well, I think in our mind and in the conversations we had with the race car drivers, we should have been needed to be, and we were, I think, was clear that it's back to the days when bump draft started, and we had no reaction to it, quite frankly, and if you recall, it had happened for a while. They got more aggressive. It got overbearing, and we got involved in it after asking the drivers to not let us get involved in it. It didn't work that way, and so we did get involved, and we kind of grew from there. So we're back now to a reset point where it's pretty much open.
And I do have to say, I had a fan approach me at Homestead and say, I'm one of those NASCAR charter members, fans that can vote and you take their opinions. NASCAR's serious about this. You guys are listening to their opinions, you're listening to the drivers, and that's something that it's a step that's definitely been made that necessarily wasn't in place to that effect before.
Well, we went through a cycle where the sport had gotten to the size, and we've worked to do it. I mean, we've worked to make the sport big. We've worked to develop exposure for the sport on behalf of the fans so that they can find out information about what's going on. And what we had to learn how to do is how to manage all that ourselves. And we created the fan council. There's over 12,000 now people on this fan council. We have a department in NASCAR that talks and works with and researches from this fan council, in addition to the fans that write us or email us or call us or we see at the racetrack. And all that now goes into a process where we say, all right, here's what we're thinking and why we're doing it, but here's what our number one constituency thinks. And so how do we bridge that, and what do we need to do to respond to that? And that's why I think you've seen the last year or so that reaction from NASCAR to respond.
Now, when there's a one-sided Super Bowl, you don't hear fans saying, NFL's got to do something about this right now. But it's kind of a badge of honor, isn't it, to have fans, if the competition, if one guy's running away or if the competition isn't where it is, that they would go to NASCAR, that they would have the I guess you'd say respect for NASCAR, that they say, hey, we're asking this, you guys as a sanctioning body, to improve this.
Well, and the badge of honor, I think, comes with the passion that NASCAR fans have. It's almost as if it transcends being a fan, and it's a lifestyle, and they're very passionate about it, and that's a good thing. So even when we get criticized, or certainly when the options or the opinion of the fan is probably not what we would like to hear or how we get the information. The heart and soul of that is the fact that our fans are very passionate and they're very vocal. And oh, by the way, our sport's played out with all the teams, all the athletes, all on the same playing field at the same time. You flip through a football season or a baseball or basketball season, certainly you got the fan or the team that you pull for, but you can bounce from channel to channel and find something that maybe ours is all in one big pool, and I think that's created a passion for our sport that even when it's negative, it's passionate, just as passionate as it is when it's positive, and that's our role is to balance all that the best we can.
Well, Mike, that's a tough job. In fact, several drivers that have come by here today said NASCAR has a tough job. I'm glad it's not on me, but they were all very complimentary of what we've done in the offseason here, and looking forward to a great 2010.
And we are too. It's always, Daytona is always the greatest. When you pull through this tunnel in February, I mean, you have no clue what's going to happen. Everything's bright and shiny, and all the uniforms and cars are all brand new and everything. It's a great, exciting time.
Mike Helton, thank you very much. We appreciate your time. And as the writers continue to write, the talkers continue to talk. That's what we're going to keep on doing here on NASCAR Media Day 2010, as we will be back with more of NASCAR Stars in a moment. The winningest active driver when it comes to the Daytona 500 is none other than Jeff Gordon in the number 24. 3 times he has been to victory lane at the Daytona 500. When we talk about just how difficult it is to win any race, these numbers are absolutely amazing when you look at all the guys that have won the 500. Only 33 drivers can say they've won this race. Richard Petty, Cale Yarborough, Gordon Jarrett, and Allison are among those 33, and we're glad to have Jeff Gordon, a 4-time champion as well, joining us now. And Jeff, this is such a special racetrack to everybody, but for the number of times you've been to victory lane here, this must really start your season out great with your heart pumping.
Oh, it does. I mean, for my very first ever Daytona 500, I had an incredible experience here at Daytona, and I look forward to coming back here each and every time. It's a lot different in July than it is in February. The conditions are a lot different. But, you know, it's different now also that we don't have the off-season testing. You know, you used to come down here and kind of know what you've got, and now you have no idea. But it's a special place, a lot of history. We've had a lot of success with the DuPont Chevrolet, so can't wait to get out there and see what we do have.
Okay, I'm not going to get off track, but I am going to get off track. Word spread like wildfire that you guys are expecting a second child, so congratulations on that.
Thank you.
The big news from Media Day.
Yes, yeah, well, we're very excited about it. The timing worked out pretty good. I didn't plan it that way, I'll tell you that, but yeah, so that was great news that we were able to share with our fans and everybody in the sport. And I don't know what's going on in the sport right now. There's we got 2 on the way that are coming real soon with Carl and Elliott, and then of course Jimmie and his news. So Wow.
Check the water supply.
I told Junior, be careful, buddy. Might be something going on over there.
Cart before the horse.
Mark said you don't have to worry about me. But
Talk about Steve Letarte, because when I checked in with him on the media tour in Charlotte, first of all, he looks like he's working out, so physically he's fit and ready for 2010. He seems like he's really got his game face on for this year. A big change, a big turnaround from what I saw in Steve.
He does. I'm really excited about our whole team, and a lot of that is led by the crew chief, you know, and Steve Letarte has turned into a great leader as well as a crew chief, and you know, I'm just excited about our focus, our determination, just the whole attitude of the team, and so much of that has happened because of his, you know, showing his what he's capable of, and showing the rest of the team how committed that he is. And he's been practicing or working out with the pit crew. We've got a few new members of the pit crew, and just a whole new attitude. And you know, I think that's what we're missing, just the slightest bit, you know, of an improvement, and we're going to be a championship threat. And so we're just looking at all those little detailed areas that we can improve, and that's certainly one of them. And I think, you know, I've been working out a tremendous amount as well. So I think physically, you know, being fit helps you mentally as well.
So when you guys have something like a 1-2-3 finish in points like Hendrick Motorsports did, somebody may from the outside looking in say, oh man, those guys got it going on, they're just going to relax. But knowing Hendrick Motorsports and the way guys like Steve and Chad Knaus work, I bet everybody was just right back at it the day after the season trying to improve.
Yeah, because we recognize that just fires the competition up that much more. It only puts a bigger target on you, and frustrates them to say, hey, we don't want to see Hendrick Motorsports winning the championship or finishing 1-2-3. And so we know that we've got to really do our homework to make sure we stay on top, and it's not easy to do. And you know, I've been part of streaks at Hendrick where you know, between me and Terry we won 4 in a row, and so you know, I know what it's like to have people gunning for you. And plus, you know, it's also internally we're trying to one-up one another in the organization, which also makes us, you know, really strong. So I mean, it's exciting to be at Hendrick. Great to see what's happening there. But we don't sit around and just you know, wait for the competition to pass us by. We try to, you know, do everything we can to make sure it doesn't happen.
Another guy driving for 5. Jeff Gordon going for championship number 5 this year. Jeff, thanks a lot for coming by. We appreciate it. Good luck and congratulations on the big news, man.
I appreciate it. We're excited.
Biggest news of media day right there.
Ah, thank you.
Yeah, and again, we got to check that water supply to see what's going on around there. Now let's go to Rutledge Wood with A.J. Allmendinger.
Hey guys, caught up with one of our favorites, A.J. Allmendinger. Glad to see you back, man. Looks like the offseason was good to you.
Man, it was great. We got Best Buy in the race car, part of the Ford Racing family in the Fame 43. I mean, how could offseason be any better?
What an exciting, and what a big change from a couple years ago to where you are now, man. This is huge.
I mean, I'm getting to be here and smile because I know I'm in the 500, so that's the first thing, because the last 3 years I've been so nervous coming to the media thing because all I could think about was trying to make the 500, and if I didn't, what was going to happen. My wife and I might divorce because I'm a real jerk.
But you're not.
But I'm not. I'm
Together.
a loving person. And we're here. We're in the show. Just happy to be here, man.
Now, you mentioned your wife. It seems like a real current theme in NASCAR is it's time for everyone to have kids. Are you guys on that same level yet?
Practicing, but no. I'm way too immature for children.
Say, Lindsay, you need to grow up first?
I say I need to grow up first. We have a dog. We have Misty. We've seen her. She's cute.
Yeah.
So that's our child. We're good with that.
So this year, Best Buy's on the car all year long. Does that mean lots of video games? We're going to have a lot of fun at the track, aren't we?
Man, I'm pumped up. First, you should see my golf cart because I have pimped it out with the sound system from Best Buy. I mean, the thing's nuts. So I'll be cranking like the 5-Finger Death Punch, Metallica. And you need to see our Best Buy pit cart where the crew chiefs and stuff are going to be sitting.
I bet it's awesome.
It's got like 5 46-inch Insignia TVs. There's PS3 on there, so during the rain delays, I'll be getting my college football on.
Everywhere you go this year, everywhere, AJ's repping for Best Buy. It's going to be a great year. So glad you're back. Guys, what a great time.
A word of advice, don't tell Rutledge you have a PS3 because he will be over there all the time and not working with us. Got to take a quick break here on Media Day 2010 here from the Daytona International Speedway. Lots more drivers coming your way, including Kyle Busch, Tony Stewart, just to name a few. We're having fun on Media Day, and we'll be back.
And NASCAR Media Day rolls on here at Daytona International Speedway. When we come here to Daytona, Dale Jr. knows a thing or two about restrictor plate wins. He has 7 of them. 3rd on the all-time restrictor plate win list, right behind Jeff Gordon and Dale Sr. That's a pretty cool accomplishment. You even yourself, when you saw that, you saw, that's pretty cool. You did. You got to look forward when you come to Speed Weeks.
Yeah, I enjoy coming here. Daytona is a great racetrack. It's a great area. I've been coming here since I was a little kid, so racing on the track's one thing, but just being here as a fan is a great experience too.
And I saw you at Media Tour. I asked you if you were going to shave the beard by the time we got to Speed Weeks. You said, I don't know. So the answer would be no.
No. Yeah, I've been trying to hang on to it for a while. It's still winter back home, so yeah, as soon as it warms up, I have to get rid of it probably.
So Dale, they always say for professional athletes and people competing at the highest level of sports, the best thing to have is a bad memory. Last year didn't go the way you want to. I guess that's the most important thing for you guys and your team is to put that behind you and just look forward to this year. Yeah, we made a lot of changes in the off season to try to better our program, and we're loaded. We got all our bullets in the magazine, and we're ready to go. So it's just you know, it's time to get on the racetrack and see what we got. We're going to practice here at about 5 o'clock, and we'll start working on that thing from the first lap and, you know, see how fast it is and see how fast the next one is. Just keep going.
Dale, you say it's really important to kind of disconnect from the racing world in December and try to step away from it all. Were you able to do much of that? I can imagine your media requests are pretty high demanding.
Well, we still do a little bit of work during the winter, but, you know, I had a great off season with my family, and I enjoy that. So, I mean, it's just, you know, especially when you have a bad year, you know, you kind of need to step back and drop back and punt. So we sort of try to regroup a little bit.
And we were talking to your driver, Danica Patrick, a little while ago. How has that process been for you in terms of, you know, helping her along and that whole, you know, calling the attention to your team?
Yeah, it's been it's brought a lot of attention to JR Motorsports, and Kelly and Tony Jr. and all them have enjoyed working with her. I really haven't had a whole lot of contact with her this whole past month pretty much, and she's out on the racetrack right now, I guess, getting some laps. So we'll see how that's going here when we get back to the bus and get ready for our practice. But you know, I kind of just let them go at their own pace with that. Tony Jr. is going to be the person that she needs to be talking to. She doesn't need too many chiefs in her ear talking to her all the time about everything. So if she really has a problem that she think I can help her with, she'll come to me and ask me about that. But I really don't have a lot of control over it or try to control it too much.
So no opinions for Danica or any advice you're going to give. You're going to focus strictly on the Hendrick Motorsports side.
Yeah, I'm working on my own deal, trying to get going.
You got your own worries,
yeah,
huh?
Right.
All right, well, Junior, it's good to see you back here again. Again, another past Daytona 500 winner. Only 33 guys have ever done that. Dale's won back in 04, I believe, right? 2004 was that.
That's right. Well, hopefully we'll have another one. Thank you.
Just a reminder, the season starts here from the first practice to Victory Lane. Hershey's Milk and Milkshake Speed Weeks coverage on speed continues through next week's Daytona 500. Some of the most exciting finishes anywhere in racing have happened at the Camping World Truck Series race at Daytona. This year, it's 7:30 Eastern Time, February 12th, and the only place to see it is on Speed. Can Todd Bodine do it again? Well, you're going to have to tune in to find that out. Now, as hard as it is to win a single race in NASCAR, to win a championship is a whole different story. Ron Hornaday was able to put together another championship last year, and in a day and age that seems to be owned by the young guns of racing, another serious veteran. Notice we did not say old guy. We said serious veteran of the sport is making his stand. Ron Hornaday has 4 championships in the Truck Series, 45 wins, and the rest of the numbers speak for themselves. 23 poles as well, and the champ is with us now. I imagine that makes for a pretty good offseason, Ron, when you're coming off a championship.
It's even better when you get down here and you can hear them cars in the background going around.
There you go. That gets your heart pumping.
Gets me excited.
What a year you guys had last year, and it looks like for all intents and purposes that Kevin and Delana have just, you know, pushed you guys up to the next level, and you're looking at more success this year.
Yeah, I mean, we won like 5 in a row, and they were all brand new trucks, and we went down to Phoenix, and Kevin said I'm going to sell a couple trucks, and I got back from there to go to Homestead. We had 14 trucks, and there were no trucks left. We had just the 2 trucks we were taking out of Homestead, and the one Kevin just won Phoenix with, and he built a brand new one for Homestead. So we got back from Homestead, we only had 2 trucks left. Kevin sold everything else, so it's going to be a tough year because we're going to be racing against our own equipment Kevin's doing, or selling and stuff. He's got a great little business at KHI, just helping other truck teams and other nationwide teams, and just really keeping NASCAR going. You know, he just really enjoys being an owner, him and Delana. So I'm just fortunate. I get new stuff every week and just keep driving. It's fun.
You know, when you won 3 of the truck championships, and then you came into last year and you get one more on the books, I just thought Hornaday's done so much in his career. How do you outdo yourself in 2010?
Well, I want to be the only back-to-back. I've done it in Southwest Tour, and we lost it for Johnny Benson last year by 7-8 points down there, and my brain fade move at Phoenix, crashing on the first lap. So you learn by your mistakes, and each time I go out, I learn something. So we got Dave Feuds this year over at KHI, ECR Motors, just a lot of changed up there, and looking forward to another brand new year. Gonna have a lot of fun.
When you ask the fans, Ron, so many of them tell us that they look so forward to the Truck Series races because it's one of the most exciting shows during the week. But when you look at this year coming up, yourself, Mike Skinner, Johnny Benson, the veterans of the sport, you have new guys coming in. Elliott Sadler's going to race some with you guys. I mean, the names, Kyle Busch's team, it just seems like the competitiveness level of this Truck Series has gone up so far.
Well, it reminds me of the first year in '95 when we had the Pettys and the Earnhardts, Childresses. Everybody, that's like NASCAR made them start a truck team. And I don't think that was the case, but where's the Truck Series going? In the first year, they passed their 5-year plan. So, I mean, here we're going on our 14th or 15th year of truck racing, and it's amazing to be here at Daytona in a truck. I mean, when they first came, I thought they were nuts, and I got a chance the second year to drive one, and I praise NASCAR what they've done with this Truck Series, and it is so awesome. I don't even know how to describe it. A guy at my age to race with these kids still. Racing for the trophies and just having a blast doing it. Kevin and Lena believe in me, my whole team does, and I believe in them, and we can come out here and have fun. My kids are growing up now. We were just talking about that earlier. A
lot of talk about kids today.
Yeah, a lot of talk. But I mean, that's what it all is. Lenny and I can really focus and have a lot of fun on racing now.
And I'm excited to see the changes on pit road.
Absolutely,
Exactly.
And there's nothing that tells us we're not going to see another one of those 3-wide bumper-to-bumper finishes like we always do. Ron, thanks for coming by. Congratulations again, and best of luck on your personal drive for 5.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, that's Ron Hornaday, Camping World Truck Series champion. And now for a guy who's going to talk about kids as well, let's go back to Rutledge Wood.
Hey guys, caught up with Carl Edwards down here. Carl, a fun off season for you. You and your wife getting ready. The baby will be here. What? Any day?
Any day. It could be happening as we speak right now. I don't know what to even think about it. Kate is looking beautiful with her belly, but their elbows and knees and stuff poking out all the time, and just really, really blessed to have Kate. And I'm a little anxious that to get this whole deal rolling.
Now, obviously, it would be a great thing to grab a Daytona 500 as a welcome to the world baby.
Yeah.
When I saw you a couple weeks ago, you guys hadn't bought, not like a few things, you had bought nothing to prepare to bring the baby home.
Yes, we have really good friends, though, like yourself, that have given us many gifts. Matt and Katie Kenseth gave us a bunch of their favorite things that worked best with Kalen. Aflac sent us a bunch of stuff, and now we just have boxes of all this stuff. We still have to put it together, and but at least we have a baby room, and we have it all in the room, so we're making progress.
I know it's going to be a good year, but as a guy who has raced a whole lot, worked on a lot of cars, do you believe that you can assemble that crib on your own?
Kate is going to wait for me to get home and help her. I don't know that I will actually help and be any good, but I'm going to give it a shot. There are lots of wing nuts and directions. I'm good with neither.
Well, congratulations, obviously. Good luck on the crib. Good luck on this year. Guys, Carl Edwards got his work cut out for him.
Back to you.
What does he mean he's not good with a wing nut? He just stood there and talked to Rutledge for all the time. He did fine. But anyway, we're going to take another break here on NASCAR Media Day 2010. When we come back, Smoke will come by and talk to us about his first year as an owner-driver that had a ton of success.
February 14th on Speed before the Great American Race. We're here in Daytona with the ultimate pre-race show, NASCAR Race Day. There's no better place to get revved up for the Daytona 500. NASCAR Race Day built by the Home Depot, live Sunday, February 14th at 9 a.m. Eastern only on Speed. Tony Stewart has championships, wins at multiple tracks. We get here to Daytona, and I know he wants nothing more than a Daytona 500 victory when he leaves Speed Weeks. He's giving us grins here at Media Day. Tony, of course, that's the one on your win list. I know that's the question of the day for you. Do you want to cringe when media people say it? You can do it now. I don't mind. You're not going to hurt my feelings.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I think the stat is I've won either 14 or 18 races at Daytona. I just haven't won the 500, so I've won everything but the 500 here. So it's definitely high on the to-do list for sure.
There's a guy named Dale Earnhardt that had the same thing going for a long time, and then he finally got his.
Yeah, thanks for reminding me of that, too.
Sorry about that.
I remember looking so many times in his eyes after the races and seeing how disappointed he was, and I can promise you, after you're here for 10 straight days to get ready for this race, you know, the people that are close to you that have to get on that plane with you and ride home, it's a quiet ride when it doesn't go your way, or something happens and you get close and you lose it and it gets out of your grasp.
Tony, do you have to delegate a lot of authority to people as an owner, driver, track owner, all the stuff that you have going on? I would imagine you have to delegate a lot of stuff away.
You're assuming he has authority then.
Oh, no, he has authority? He's the owner, man. I saw him sign papers.
All that means is that I'm allowed to spend money. That's the only thing it allows me, empowers me to do. But you do, in all honesty. I mean, with you know, a trucking company in Ohio, a remote control car company, the Cup teams, the open wheel teams, you know, the racetracks that we own, you have to have a lot of people that you trust, and you have to trust them to do the right job and to make decisions for you that are the way that you would want it done and in your best interest.
And we know this isn't your only business venture with the team that you own now, but how much of an off season do you really get at all? For Tony Stewart, you're either racing or you're watching on some of your businesses, talking to your teammate Ryan Newman. Do you get much time?
Well, I'll tell you how much time I actually took this year. I mean, I was, just before we came up here, you guys were watching me sign documents. And Ryan,
signing your life away, by the way.
Yeah, I didn't know if I was signing the rest of my life savings away or what, but Ryan comes up and taps me on the shoulder and looks at me and starts laughing and goes, "Thanks for signing the paperwork so I can race." So it's, I actually took 2.5 weeks off, went to Australia this year, which I haven't done. I went over in '95. So it's been 14 years since I was there, and had a blast. Got to race wing sprint cars with Donnie Schatz, my World of Outlaws driver, and you know, a perfect vacation for me is having some days off to do nothing and going racing. So I got to do both.
Now, we know you didn't get in this thing to run in the 35th position, and you guys had a tremendous amount of success last year as a first year. But one thing you talked about before you got into the ownership role that was pretty cool was the fact that, you know, we're not going to have Richard Childress and Rick Hendrick around forever. We're not going to have Joe Gibbs around forever. Someday there has to be some other owners to take over the reins.
Yeah, and trust me, I mean, I love Richard Childress. I love Joe Gibbs, Rick Hendrick, all these guys. You know, Jack Roush. You know, there's a lot of great car owners in this series, but it's kind of neat to be hopefully on the front edge of the next wave of car owners that hopefully will be around here for a long time. So that's you know, that was something that when I signed up, you know, I sat down one day after I'd already finished the deal with Gene Haas and sat and said, man, this is something that's pretty cool. I mean, I have the chance to be these guys one day. I have a chance to be, you know, a Rick Hendrick or Jack Roush or Joe Gibbs down the road.
We've had a lot of drivers come through here today, Tony, but you'll be honest, what is the dumbest question you've been asked today at Media Day?
Luckily, I have not done print media, which that's normally the group that I absolutely are like, are you guys kidding me? So it's been pretty painless. We've done all the you know, our day actually started doing the TV promo side of it. So all the stuff that you'll see on Fox and TNT and speed promos, we've finished that, and we're actually getting ready to do my favorite part of the day, and that's deal with print media. So these are the guys that sit in their chairs too long and get the free buffets and still complain about everything that's going on. They complain worse than us as drivers.
Really?
So it'll be interesting dealing with them today.
Well, we appreciate you stopping by the speed desk, and we'll send you out to the vultures then that you call,
yeah,
the
great.
print media.
Just send a cord on me, or at least pay attention, so if I feel like I'm getting backed in a corner, I can wave and somebody can come save me.
Yeah, send us a code word.
All right. Yeah.
All right. Good luck this week at Speed Weeks. We appreciate you stopping by. And as we roll on here at Media Day, it's now time to check in with our resident helping hand, Rutledge Wood.
Hey guys, caught up with Clint Boyer down here. Clint, the first thing I noticed, man, look at those beautiful locks of hair you're sporting. Was that your idea to grow the hair out?
I've kind of let myself go. I need a haircut.
Somebody, little birdie, told me that your girlfriend told you to grow your hair out.
She's mean. She made me grow my hair out. No, it's no, I just try to change it up a little bit. Yeah. I think it's time for, let's all do it.
I agree.
You grew all yours in your face though.
Well, you gotta get it where you can, you know. So you had a nice off season, obviously back with Cheerios again, and we got our friend the Helping Hand.
Helping Hand.
It's gonna be a fun year for you.
It is. It's an important year for us. You know, we had a bad year last year. We need to get things turned around, and you know, I'm proud of everybody. Everybody's been working hard at RCR. you know, I get there early in the morning, people there before they're supposed to be, and they're there well after they're supposed to be after quitting time. So I'm excited about RCR's year this year. I feel like we've done the homework, and you know, I hope we're ready for them.
Do you have any plans to bring up? No, I got to ask that stuff. It also seems
serious questions.
I know, they told me to. No, I'm just kidding. I think it's also important to mention that you and I have talked before. You want to take some breakfast to fans. I think this is the year to do it.
Yes, we need to. You know,
we could make the Guinness Book of Records for the most people eating Cheerios at one time.
Let's do it.
Right here.
Good idea.
2 weeks. Can they make that happen?
Oh, in 2 weeks?
I don't know.
That's a lot of Cheerios.
It's a lot of Cheerios.
A lot of fans down here.
It's a lot of fun. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
You make the call. Clint Boyer's feeding all the fans at some race somewhere, and it's going to be a great time. Thanks for being here, guys.
Leave it to Rutledge to get the breaking news from Clint Boyer. Well, there's a lot more in store here at Media Day here at Daytona. Kyle Busch stopping by, Casey Kane, just to name a few. These riders, they still have a lot of stories to cover, including Tony Stewart that they're chatting with now. More to come.
Speed's presentation of NASCAR Media Day is brought to you by DirecTV. To get the most out of your high-def TV, you gotta hook it up to DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. By Hershey's Milk and Milkshakes. Try a new way to indulge in Hershey's. And by Toyota, moving forward.
In a very young NASCAR career, Kyle Busch has spent a lot of time in victory lane doing celebratory donuts, but also celebrating a championship after last season. We had the Cup champion, Truck champion on. Now we have the Nationwide Series champ on in Kyle Busch. Kyle, thanks for coming by today. Now, I know things on the Cup side did not work out exactly the way we wanted to this year, but everybody's starting out now with a clean slate.
That's right. We got a clean slate. So our M&M's Camry is looking forward to turning the season around this year and getting ready to get going here in 2010. So a lot to live up to with Dave Rogers coming on board and a lot going on there, and really looking forward to having everything Dave's gone through in the off season and built and started up. You know, there's a lot to go with.
From a driver's perspective, Kyle, not having the testing that we've had this policy in place now in the past, are you able to get much seat time, or how is it from your end of it?
Well, I can drive super late models anytime I want,
right.
Thankfully. So we went and drove super late models last week in Lanier, Georgia, and I won that show.
I know, I heard you schooled them.
Well, it's kind of a warm-up. So I had a new crew chief on board with Chris Gabehart. He was really good at what he does, too. So if I can't hire the best of the best, I'll steal the best of the best, just like Rick Hendrick said. So I've learned a lesson from him and getting Rick Wren and Eric Phillips and the guys on my team for the truck stuff. So a lot of things have been going on there at KBM. And, you know, now with the season started, it's, you know, the focus needs to switch here a little bit and get back towards racing and being able to pay for some of those bills with the Cup stuff.
And the Truck Series looks really good this year with what you're doing, Kevin, Johnny Benson, Ron Hornaday, everybody. It's going to be a very competitive year.
I certainly hope so. You know, I feel like everything I've got going on and Kevin has going on, you know, that everybody's probably looking at us as the two teams to really focus on. But there's a lot of other good teams that are coming up too with Turner Motorsports, and you know, we're still unsure of what Crawford's going to do this year. So you know, we're hoping things turn out well for the series. There's supposed to be about 42 trucks down here from what we hear, so we'll have to make our way in the show.
And if anyone was living under a rock during the off-season, you continued your agreement with Joe Gibbs Racing, so congratulations on that.
Thank you. Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, that's very cool. We got the agreement all done and signed up early last year. We just never told anybody about it, so it was out of the way well early in the season, but you know, we announced it here this off-season and got it to where everything's good for multi-years to come, and you know, we'll make sure that everything happens for a reason, and that we can try to win a Cup championship next.
Yeah, I guess we can't run around anymore and say there's no secrets in the garage area. They kept one from us. Kyle, congratulations on the championship, all the wins last year, and wish you the best of luck going into this season.
Well, I appreciate it, guys. Thanks so much, and of course, hopefully we stay tuned to more wins to come.
Absolutely, yep, and perhaps another championship down the road here. Want to thank everybody who joined us for this Media Day coverage here from the Daytona International Speedway. Stay tuned, because coming up next, the drawing for the Bud Shootout. Find out who will start where next on Speed.